Good afternoon. We're going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for December the 2nd, 2019. Before we get into our agenda items, we have two items that we will address first. We will call the council to the front for Employee of the Month presentation. At that point, the council will come back up and we will have a presentation at that time by the Youth Volunteer Corps. So at this time, first, we'll have the recognition of our Employee of the Month.
Well, this is a happy duty, and I will call to the front of the room Jesse Gilstrap. Jesse started working for the city in July of 2016 as a solid waste laborer in the Public Works Department. In January 2019, Jesse transferred from Public Works to Facilities Maintenance as a Maintenance Worker 3. Jesse was born and raised in Oklahoma and attended ICTC, that's Indian Capital Technical Center, where he learned the trade of electricity. His background includes electrical, construction, and plumbing, and he is currently helping a friend remodel a house. That's the kind of friend to have that'll help you remodel your house. Jesse is married and has 2 daughters and 1 granddaughter. You have a granddaughter? Jesse calls himself a foodie and says all foods are good. He enjoys working with steel and has built his own forge. He also loves all types of music, from classical to alternative and all music genres in between. And we have this certificate for you. You can tell people you are the Employee of the Month. And would you like to say a little something?
No.
Oh. Well, he doesn't talk much, but he works really good. Yes? Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm the airport manager, Drew Saffel. I've only worked with Jesse directly for a couple months now, but during that time, I've seen how much of an asset he is to the city of Muskogee. Just about a month ago, we had a situation where a jet needed to leave for Houston, and it was stuck in a hangar. Hangar door wouldn't open. Electrical problem. It needed to depart within the hour. Multi-million-dollar aircraft. Get a hold of these guys. They come out. He quickly, confidently diagnoses the problem, sources the part. We have it fixed within the hour, and that jet's headed off to Houston to do business directly related to Muskogee, Oklahoma. So I appreciate you, Jesse, and everything that you do, and everything the city staff does. Thank you.
We're all proud of you. And if you would, go around and shake all the hands and start with me. Yes. Keep up the good work. This up here.
Mayor Borson, did you want to do the introduction?
Yes, I will, but I'll do it from up here. I'm going to introduce you to someone who can talk a lot better than I can, and it's the leader of the Muskogee Youth Volunteer Corps, Ms. Eileen Van Kirk. Would you come up and tell us about your organization, please?
Well, thank you for having us. We're here tonight to acknowledge the hard work of 33 youth that have been awarded the Presidential Volunteer Service Medals. I have a quick little, just a few slides, but it'll show you the breakdown. We have a lot of gold medals. We have a few silver medals and a whole lot of bronze medals. And this is separate from our regular YVC stuff, but the YVC stuff will be in the slides. Kids work all summer. They work all year long, but they work extremely hard in the summer all over the community for a lot of different agencies. This year we broke every record that we've ever set before, and I've said that to you lots of times, but this year was amazing. We had 6,400 hours worth of service, and I didn't do the math tonight. Last time I came, I times it by $21 an hour. That's the national standard for volunteer service. So think about that, $21 an hour times 6,400 hours, and that's the gift that these kids and others have given to the city. So I'm going to show my little slides real quick, and then we'll have them all come up, because once we get them in here, the roof is going to come up. And one thing I do want to acknowledge is tonight the president and founder of YVC wanted to make this extra special for us. So I want to give a shout out to David Batty, who this was his idea 30 years ago, actually 32 years ago, to show the world what teenagers could do with their boundless energy and good hearts.
Well, we are very proud, and when your little presentation is over, we want to come back down so we can
Super. Well, it
congratulate
means a
each
lot
one
to
of
the
them.
kids. These awards not only have a medal, they have a certificate, and they have a letter, because it's the presidential award. They have a letter that's signed by the president. So it's a very special thing for them. You know, my assistant, Leslie Hamill, heard about this award, hurried up, got but we had to be first certified that we could turn the names in. So she got us certified, and then she, you know, sent everything off, and all I had to do was hand the stuff out. So I give kudos to her too. So here are our slides. Oh, here we go. These are our Gold Award recipients. Gold Award recipients had to do, if you were 15 or under, you did a 75 hours worth of service. If you were, well, never mind, I've lost a piece of paper. The older you are, the more hours you have to do. That says it all. So these are our silvers, and these are our bronze. You didn't tell me that this was already timed out. Okay, so that's all right. So those are our bronze recipients. And then these are the numbers. We helped 33 agencies this year, 6,406 hours, 271 projects, and 107 volunteers. These kids are all 7th through 12th grade. They're all members or connected to our community in some way. Some of them's parents work here, so they bring them in. Some of them come after school. Some of them are homeschooled. It's just a mixed up bunch of kids that reflect our community, and that's the way that it should be. So now it's about them, so come on in, guys.
Okay. For us to come down. Eileen, they want to come up here behind us, some of us, since there's so many. Yeah. As many as will fit. And know that you have our gratitude from this whole bunch of people here.
Thank you. Sorry. And you have our thanks for supporting this program so fully all these years. YVC has been part of Muskogee since 1990. And that's a lot of support, a lot of care, a lot of help. And we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are you wanting a photo op up here? Hold up. Get everyone to flip around. Want us to sit down with them?
All right, so now we'll,
Okay,
let's just
we'll get out of the way. Sit down where they can. You ought to get up here too.
sit down, make them stand. Yeah.
Scoot this way.
That way we get to be in the picture too.
Squeeze toward the center. Yeah, Mike. As much as you can. Mike.
Stand like you like each other. Come on.
You guys are gonna have to go way over there. You guys, I can tell you this is not this time. There you go.
It's just like the Academy Awards, isn't it?
What'd you say?
This is a lot more fun than some of the things we have to do.
Can everybody look this way?
Did we want to get the head of the youth volunteer to come up and be in the picture? Come on. Come on. Need to prolong the happy funny. Sure got quiet all of a sudden.
One more time, so that everybody look this way. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That was wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all's service.
That's all for her. She looks just like her.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. At this time, we'll go into the regular agenda items. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of November 18, 2019.
After reviewing of the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments November 9, 2019 through November 22, 2019.
We have a report from the Purchasing Committee.
Yes, Purchasing Committee did meet this afternoon. We did have some questions. I appreciate the staff getting them together for us where we could get down and share the moment this evening, and they answer all their questions, so I would recommend approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve our claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 2793, amending the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma municipal budget for fiscal year 2019-2020, providing for additional revenues to be transferred to the Special Project Fund in which to pledge said revenues or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. As I was thinking earlier today, this is the most wonderful time of the year. We're getting towards the holiday season, and we also have the opportunity to review our last fiscal year budget and how we did and how it turned out, because what you guys have done is establish how we handle our finances through ordinance. And so what we do when we get to this time of the year is we look at our budget in general, and this is kind of our history. You see the red line. For quite a few years, we were using our reserves, and so that meant we were digging into our savings account. So since you guys brought me on board, we've decided that we need to stay within our limits. And so we've kept our expenditures line, our red line, below our blue line, and we budgeted to do that, and we've been successful. And so last year, we decided, the council decided to pass an ordinance for when that happens, what do we do with the money that we save year over year? What do we do with our revenues over expenses? And so the ordinance that the council established said we're going to fund our reserve first, and then we're going to fund one-time projects that fit our strategic plan. And the reason why that we wanted to fund the reserve first is that the best practice, the council asked to do some research, and they came back and said 20 to 30% of the general fund is the best practice for a reserve. And we were at 10. So for an emergency, we might be in a little bit of trouble. So the first year that we implemented this fund, we were able to, or the ordinance that the council passed, we moved it to 15.6%. And under the ordinance as it's in operation today, we're going to be almost to that 20% mark in just 2 years. So that's very impressive work. And so when I was talking earlier about the hard decisions that the council had to make, and Councilor Hall and Councilor Kale and Mayor Coburn that are here, they help make those decisions, and certainly all of you on the up here as well. So what that does is lets us, we got a formula now for how we handle our revenue over expenses. This year, that was $2 million. So our revenue came in a little bit higher, and we watched our expenses. So again, we've had lots of years where the expenses have been above the revenue. This year, we had a good year through good, sound policy from the council and good management from our department heads. So we are at 15.6% when we started. That's less than 20%. So our formula says 75% of the revenue over expenses goes into that stabilization fund. As you can see, that gets us almost to 20%. So that is very good news and shows forward thinking by the council to try and get us to that point. Once we get over 20%, our ordinance says we save less aggressively. We continue to save to get to 30%, but then we have more money to put into what we call the Special Projects Fund, which has been, again, established by ordinance. These are for one-time projects that we don't want to start a new program because we may not have money next year in this fund. This is all dependent on performance. So we allocate these one-time expenditures through the strategic plan priorities. And so this year, from discussion with the council, these are ideas. And so the council will discuss and decide whether or not these are the ideas that we want to use the special project fund for. But these are the 5 that we've identified in our strategic plan. We talk about economic development and housing development and demolition. Those are 2 programs we propose to fund, or 2 activities we propose to fund. One of the priorities is to improve the city's image through realigning compensation and working on City Hall. And another one is to improve the appearance and quality of life in the community. So when you refer to the strategic plan, you say, this is how we want to spend our money if we have an extra dollar. We have $500,000 extra dollars this year, thanks to the council and thanks to the department heads. And this is how we propose to allocate those based off conversations with the council and direction that we've received through the strategic plan. Housing infrastructure is our basically one of our number 1 underfunded or unfunded economic development projects. We've talked some about that. So the proposal is to put $300,000 towards that. The next largest chunk is an important one to me because we don't keep our revenues low without the employees sharing in that and making that happen and having that be part of the culture. Is how do we do things that don't cost us more money but do things more efficiently? And so this allows for an employee stipend of $325 per employee to help them, reward them for the success that we've had financially as a city. The demolition is for projects that fall outside of our federal grant-funded area. Councilor Stout, we've talked about a few of those that we've discussed in the past. This will help get some of those accomplished. The Senior Center in Station 3, this is additional funding for that project because we had it on a very narrow, very tight budget, so this gives us a little bit of wiggle room. And the last one on the list is City Hall remodels related to City Clerk, Revenue's Office, and the Municipal Court, which is downstairs and needs some updating. So we've seen what, in the last year or so, this room transformed for a very little amount of money. And so we want to do some of that similar work in some of the other parts of the city. These are proposals based off feedback from the council, but this is the council's will. So the Special Projects Fund here is just a proposal and open for debate and discussion. And if we, whatever is decided here can be moved on to the full council for consideration next week.
I'd like to move for approval. One, I'd like to express my appreciation to the city manager and to the department heads for the good, sound financial advice that they have given the city council that have kept us in budget. And also, I'd like to express my appreciation to the employees. It is really good when we're sitting here in December and we're able to make these type of decisions, where we're able to turn back their diligent efforts back to employees. And the way, because that's what we want to do, is increase employee pay as much as we possibly can, and yet we're able to target some of those projects that we want to do. And one of the biggest areas is middle income housing, and so this is a great way. This is the second year that we've been able to do this, so I'm very excited. So I would make a motion that we approve this.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract between the City of Muskogee and Retail Strategies in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for retail recruitment and consulting services, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, we received 4 proposals for retail recruitment and consulting services. That was from Retail Strategies, Retail Attractions, Catalyst Commercial, and Buxton. We received, again, 4 proposals. The city manager, city attorney, and myself all reviewed the proposals. We also sat down and interviewed each retail consultant. Based upon the proposal, the interview, and the reference checks, we are recommending Retail Strategies. So we're asking you to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract between Retail Strategies and the city of Muskogee in an amount not to exceed $50,000. Be glad to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Garvin, for the benefit of those watching, highlight the benefits that this will have for the city, particularly in comparison to what we have been doing before and our opportunities that lie ahead of us.
Okay. As you know, about all retail consultants will do data information as far as demographics, your retail area, on up to the leakage. So all retail consultants basically do that. The 2 big things that we felt was beneficial here was the retail recruitment and the education. They provide a lot of education, not only to staff, but to city council if we choose to participate in that. But as far as recruitment, we think they'll be a lot more proactive than our previous consultant was. We also think they'll get more benefits at ICSC from this firm than we have in the past. They've also stated that they'll sit down with local landowners, because we have a lot of landowners who has property available for retail development. Not only will they sit down with the city, they'll sit down with the local landowners too. So those are benefits we think will move the city of Muskogee forward on retail development.
And to add to that, this is a budgeted item. We're using a different consultant for the same activity that we budgeted for before, and it's this it's within the budgeted amount.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of final payment for the Green Hill Cemetery Bell Tower project to Scissortail Construction, LLC, in the amount of $4,245, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Scissortail Construction has completed the bell tower project. They are asking for a final payment in the amount of $4,245. What I want to do is just kind of go through the progress of the bell tower over the last several months. When we first started, of course, that is the location which is just to the east of the cemetery office. Back in August, all we had was a rendering to show everyone. Once we awarded the contract, they immediately started the slab and the footing. From there, they started the framework. After that, they started doing the brick work, masonry work. Then they end up pouring the concrete around the perimeter, installing the benches. We did end up staining the area and the concrete on the area inside the bell tower. The reason for that is when we did our punch list, the contractor had a lift in the area when he was framing, stained the concrete. He could not get it clean, so this was a solution that we both agreed upon at no additional cost. So he ended up staining it to cover up the actual stains that he left on the concrete, which looks really good. We turned out very good. This is the final project that you can see today. Basically, this was funded through the special project funds, which is the item the manager just talked about under item 3. It was money that the council said, let's go ahead and start this bell tower project instead of waiting. Also, the rest of it's being paid through donations. The total contract price was $133,446. We had one change order, $1,195. So total cost was $134,641. The change order actually ended up being less, so we actually have a balance of $749 from that total amount. But I'd recommend approval of final payment.
Move for approval.
Second.
I would make one suggestion, that on construction projects like this, that if we have the maintenance department, or this one may be the cemetery, that we put it on somebody's calendar 2 months prior to the performance bond being expiring. That would pop up on somebody's calendar and somebody do a walkthrough prior to that performance bond expiring, where we can do a walkthrough. Then if we see anything there, it can be addressed before that performance bond expires.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
We got a motion and a second for this agenda item. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2790, declaring 2 parcels of property located on Robinson Street as surplus property and authorized sale to Lisa Frazier in the amount of $726, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin?
The abutting property owner, Lisa Frazier, is requesting approval for us to surplus 2 parcels, and these parcels are sitting next to her. She is wanting to expand her existing property. She stated over the past several years she has been mowing and maintaining the property. Separately, the lots are unbuildable. If they were ever consolidated together, it would make them into a buildable lot, but currently they are considered unbuildable. Therefore, we are recommending approval to authorize the sale to Lisa Frazier in the amount of $726. Be glad to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval to endorse the Tulsa Metro Chamber 2020 One Voice legislative agenda regarding state and federal issues that may have an impact on Oklahoma cities, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. The Tulsa Metro Chamber puts together a One Voice legislative agenda for state and federal priorities every year, and they ask different communities to participate and endorse it to try and further goals at the state level. We have done this in the past for many years. The city endorsed it. It's before you. I'm not going to try and explain everything. We haven't done it in a couple of years because for a couple of years, one of the main tenets of it is supporting the 8-year plan from ODOT. And for a while, we had some things in the 8-year plan related to a bypass that we did not like. And so the city declined to participate. Now that the bypass is no longer in the 8-year plan, the Port of Muskogee has recommended and approved and endorsed this. Some of the other things that are in there are municipal funding diversification, which is important to cities, and funding of the Kerr-McClellan Waterway, or the navigational channel that serves the port. And so Connor Carroll from the Tulsa Metro Chamber is here to answer questions, or if you guys like, he can make a short presentation. But otherwise, we will leave it to you guys to discuss and recommend approval.
Manager, my understanding is the Muskogee Chamber of Commerce supports this, and also the Port of Muskogee.
Yes, the board you approved it last week, I believe.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
All right, item number 7 passes, and that is our final item for the Finance Committee.
We will now go ahead and call the Public Works Committee for December the 2nd, 2019 to order. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of November 18, 2019.
Any questions on that item? Do I have a motion?
Move the approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance number 4083A to rezone lots 9 through 12, Block 7 in Reed Heights Edition, more particularly described in the ordinance from C1, local commercial, to R1, single-family residential, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will now open a public hearing on item number 2. Ms. Callahan.
Yes, thank you, Chair, committee members. This is a request from Jorge Bermudez. He's the owner and the applicant. He's requesting to rezone the lots that are 9 through 12 in Block 7 in Reed Heights Edition from C1 local commercial to the R1 single-family residential. It is to allow for a single-family residential development. He's hoping to build at least 3 homes. This is the site, and then north of the site, both are zoned C1 local commercial. It's vacant land and office parking lots. To the south is Baltimore Street, then across is C1 local commercial. There's a parking lot and a vacant building. And to the south, let me get there. To the east is C1 local commercial. It's the Encompass Home Health offices, and it's actually the parking lot to that building. This is all to the west is zoned R1 single-family residential, and there are single-family homes. And to the southwest is also R1 single-family residential homes. This shows an overlay of the future land use map that shows the area highlighted in yellow, including the site itself, to be classified as single-family residential. The other area shaded was the commercial overlay for the future land use map classifications. The zoning classification of R1 single-family does comply with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map. Staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
We've not received anybody to speak to item number 2, so I will now close the public hearing. Questions from the committee for staff?
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4084A, annexing into the city limits property located at 6000 West Okmulgee Avenue, more particularly described in the ordinance, and authorize staff to revise the official map of the city to reflect said change.
We will now open a public hearing on item number 3 on Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr.
Ms.
Chair,
Callahan.
committee members. This is a request from Stanley and Yolanda Perkins. It is a request to annex into city limits. The address is 6000 West Okmulgee. It is, request is to receive city services. The zoning will be R1 single-family residential as it is annexed in, and it does meet the comprehensive plan and future land use map. This is the site. What you'll see is the outline in red is the current city limits. And then this would be the city limits after the annexation. Staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. It is just their 2-acre parcel that's being requested to be annexed in.
We've not received any request to speak to this, so I will now close the public hearing. Any questions on item number 3 from the committee? or staff?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of ordinance number 4082A to close and vacate a 20-foot utility easement within the Legacy Self-Storage Edition, being more particularly described in the ordinance, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee members, this is a request from Legacy Self-Storage. John Coburn is the applicant. It is to close and vacate the 20-foot wide utility easement that is located within the Legacy Self-Storage Addition. It's allow for expansion of the current facility. There are no utilities that are located within the easement, and it would not impede any future development within that subdivision or the adjacent property owners. This is the highlighted of the full subdivision. The red outline is the easement that is being closed and vacated, and it is within their addition. It does not affect the abutting property owners to be vacated. Staff, subdivision review, and Planning Commission recommend approval. And if you'll notice, it starts west of the front of the property, and that is the only easement that's being requested to be closed.
Any questions from committee?
Move the approval.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final plat of Montgomery Addition, consisting of one lot on 1.62 acres located at 1512 Ash Street, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. This is a request from Jody Montgomery she's the owner and the applicant. She's requesting to have a preliminary and final plat to Lot 1, Block 1 in Montgomery Addition. It combines their 1.62 acres that she owns. Her address is 1512 Ash. It is to combine all parcels into one lot subdivision, and that is to allow also for an accessory dwelling unit on there. She did acquire a large parcel from our surplus property program, and so this also combines that into one ownership and one lot. This is the location of the site, the plat. It is between Cromwell and Eufaula. A little closer, you can tell the house there is 1512 Ash. To the north is Eufaula, and it's the parking lot for the Ash Street Baptist Church. And here is a drawing of the final plat. Staff, subdivision review, and Planning Commission recommend approval. Be happy to answer any questions. It was a very complicated platting process when you combine all parcels, and this will just clean up her title and her property for future development and for sale later.
Any questions from committee?
Move the approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final plat of Chepcaucus Estates, consisting of 2 lots on 6.58 acres located at 529 North Country Club Road, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Chair, committee members. This is a request from Daniel Chepcaucus, the owner and the applicant. It is for Chepcaucus Estates. I'm doing as well as anyone. It's 2 lots on 6.58 acres. Its address currently is 529 North Country Club. And because they are wanting to build a single-family residential home, it required to be platted, and also is there an existing home, so the new structure will be built on Lot 1 and is currently addressed 525 North Country Club. There is the site just south of the Eastgate Nursing Facility. And this is the final plat and staff subdivision review and planning commission recommended approval. There is an existing structure on Lot 2, and they will either renovate that or demolish it. But they will be building a new property on the Lot 1. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from committee? Motion for approval?
Yep.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7.
Consider approval to submit a proposal for the Asphalt Art Initiative Grant from the Bloomberg Philanthropies to fund the intersections of color and community in the Depot District project, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Last one. Thank you, Chair, committee members. This is being presented, and I had this asked to be put on, that the Depot District Group Committee is submitting this application to the Bloomberg Philanthropies. We're doing good, Tammy. We're going to get it. And it is for a grant to do some asphalt art on the streets. What they have identified in the map that was in your packet has since changed. They decided to stick with Elgin and to coordinate with Depot Green. And we have representatives, Ren Stratton and Doug Walton here. If you have any questions, it is no funding required. It was just that the city has to be the applicant. We're also going to be the project manager. Fiscal agent will be the Neighbors Building Neighborhoods, and the Depot District will be the ones that will be overseeing it and presenting it.
Really do appreciate the initiative of the Arts Council continuing to make our community much beautiful and bright. Any questions from the committee?
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval of an interlocal agreement between the City of Muskogee and the Board of County Commissioners for Muskogee County for street improvements to South York Street between Peak Boulevard and Smith Ferry Road and East Hancock Road between York Street and Country Club Road, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is a very exciting street project that Ken Oak approached us a little over a year ago, bringing up that he'd like to share with us. These streets are streets that we share ownership in some form or fashion. Some of it is 50% ours, one half's ours, and is basically the county line runs down the middle of the street. So half is ours, half is theirs. And then there's some that are chopped in. I think Hancock's chopped up a little bit more differently, and we figured the percentages that way. But he approached us that we just go together, get these done, come up with an agreement, and work through them. If you see our street maintenance program, the 5-year street maintenance program that's been ongoing for several years, we're going into for this current year's budget, we're going into the southeast zone, and shortly we'll be putting out bids for the overlays and micro seals in those zones. But this agreement was put together. The county will bid the project. They will actually do some of the work themselves. That green's not showing up at all. The York Street between Peak and Smith Ferry, they are doing quite a bit of they're doing a lot of work with their own forces, which will be the preliminary work, which will be patching, digging out shoulders, replacing side drains, and then they'll bid the asphalt overlay portion itself. County will take care of all the work, and we're doing a reimbursement to them. It amounts to about $64,000 on each piece. These are both 1-mile sections, and if we estimated doing a 1-mile section ourselves, it'd be quite a bit more than $63,000, or even double that. So we're getting a lot of bang for our buck on these two projects, thanks to sharing with the county. and we are going to help them everywhere we can to get these done. Ken wants to put them out for bid immediately so that we can get them going early spring, and they may do some of the prep work even before that they can get into the dirt and do that stuff. It's already been through the commissioners, and they've approved it, so with your approval tonight, we'll have an agreement that goes to the Attorney General, and once that's signed, we're good to go. They're going to upfront all the costs and everything, and then we'll pay the actual cost. The $64,000 is an estimate, but we'll pay the actual cost when it's done. So we recommend approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Riley, the green was showing up really good on our screens. We could see it. I really appreciate the efforts that are taking place right now in a cooperative agreement between the city and between the county. I know in the past these were challenging, and sometimes there was finger pointing. Well, no, that's the city. No, that's the county. This is great where we got two different groups going together and going, how can we solve this problem and how can we move our community forward? So thank you, and I thank the commissioners for working together to do what's best for our citizens.
Yeah. And I'd like to add that we're going to pursue this as we go into the other zones.
Yes.
On the perimeter of the city, we're gonna pursue more agreements like this to stretch our dollars further.
Yeah, I know it's been discussed in multiple areas, but we're looking at it as we move from each zone as it pertains to the long-range plan.
Right.
You have something to say?
Yes, Greg, I just wanted, can you, you talked a little bit about the York Street, but can you talk a little bit more about Hancock, about where that's going to be and what,
Okay.
what that's going to cover?
How to go back. Okay, Hancock is from York to Country Club. Is that section that they're doing, or we're doing together, and there's quite a bit of patching. That's a pretty bad stretch of road right now. It really needs its attention, and this is going to really improve it. Our EDA project further to the east will pick up more of Hancock, and then that'll leave us another piece in there from Country Club to there that we will need to pick up.
So I want to thank Greg and the staff and the commissioners. Like you said, we're working together, our money can go a lot further. So,
Move for approval.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Riley, on this project here, you said the county's doing most of the work?
Yes, they're going to do the actual, some of the work in the prep work, and then they're going to bid the actual overlay itself.
I'm just wondering, are we going to have any inspectors on this job?
We're going to leave that to the county since they're doing the work. We'll offer our services if they need them. But,
Have you asked them, are they going to have any inspectors?
no, I haven't asked them directly.
They must trust their workers.
Mr. Van, this is part of our Southeast Zone project. So as we inspect all our Southeast Zone projects in this coming year, we'll inspect this one as well. But we are going to lean towards the county, since they are going to be hiring the contractor, that they will be the primary inspectors on this project.
Just making sure, Mr. Miller, that since we're going to the southeast section this time, that we don't get overlooked. Because like on the southwest quadrant, we got overlooked. We didn't have any inspectors. So since we got one inspector on 24th Street, we paying $135,000 to. I'd like to see inspectors on this job too.
I hear you loud and clear, sir.
You hear me loud and clear? You know where I'm going with that, right, Mr. Miller?
I remember our discussions. Yes, sir.
All righty. That's all I need to know. We're going to have, like I said, I hope we have some inspectors on this job. And remember what I said last time. The people that we have on staff, I hope they're learning a great deal from this high-dollar inspector we're going to have. At the $135,000, need to get us some pay. I mean, some other than 24th Street. That's all I'm saying. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the committee on this item? Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 8 passes. Item number 9, please.
Consider approval of change order number 1 and 2 to construction contract with McClure Energy Solutions for the tank mixing and aeration improvements project for an additional amount of $7,213 and time extension of 90 additional days, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. This was our first, I don't have any pretty pictures of water towers, but we know where they are. Honor Heights and then Radio Hill. We're putting mixing in Honor Heights, which is a tube that basically mixes the water through it. And then in Radio Hill, we are putting aerators, which are like you see in a pond that sprays aeration up into the thing. And what that does is it keeps the chlorine residuals down as it mixes the water. And that's why we're doing that, to help with our chlorine residual byproduct violations that we get, the letters we have to put in the mail. This is the first of our OWRB water projects. What happened on this project, we did our diligence ahead of time about getting electricity to Radio Hill. We have electricity there, but we need two-phase to run these aerators. Everything looked good. Everything was agreed to, but then when we got into it, OG&E got involved, and but we ended up with East Central Electric. That was the best situation for the city. However, then the timing of them getting theirs in, we had to clear a path for them to put the power in, and they had to get some easements that we weren't expecting. So that's put the 90-day delay. And then the cost is we want to go ahead and get Honor Heights going. So the manufacturer's sending their representatives in to get that one going. And so basically it'll be 2 trips in here for them to get everything running on both tanks. So that's the additional cost. And then also East Central has asked for some modifications to the racks that we use to meet with their requirements. And so that's the cost, and the 90 days is warranted because of the electric delay. And we recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions.
So this really couldn't be something that could be foreseen by the engineers. It's just something that kind of transpired as the project was developing.
It was discussed over and over beforehand, and it just the timing of East Central's timing wasn't. We made some assumptions that they would jump in there and get it done, and it's taking a little bit longer.
Utilities can get you every time. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from committee? Do I have a motion?
Move the approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Number 9 passes. Number 10, please.
Consider approval of change order number 2 to construction contract with Cook Consulting LLC for the Port Lift Station Replacement Project, replacing breakers and starters in lift station number 1 for an additional amount of $8,415.45 and time extension of 248 additional days, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is our this was our first sewer project with the OWRB loan, and it's actually finishing up. Just for refresher, on the east side of town along the river, we have four lift stations. The sewer that comes in up here drains into this lift station. The lift station pumps it up to a higher level, and it drains down again to this lift station and pumps it back up, takes it down and pumps it up. That gets it to our plant. The grade through there is not such that the gravity flow all the way to the plant. That's the reason for these lift stations. This project is number 1, 2, and 3. All these south of Shawnee, starting right there at Shawnee. There's 3 stations in there with this project. It was about a $2.3 million project. Very good bids for that. And we did have challenges through this project with weather. Obviously, we had flooding when these stations are 30 to 35 foot deep, so you can't really work very well with the rain. So as you see in there, the total the time extension is a long time, but over 100 days of that is because of weather. They can't work when it rains, and then after it rains for several days. So that became an issue. Plus, we had the record flooding in there that really had an effect on that. And the cost was, and during the flooding, we had some power surges as OG&E was switching substations around. We had some equipment on lift station 1 that we were reusing for the new station that got basically fried. by the old pumps weren't able to handle the surges, so that had to be replaced, and that's what the additional $7,000 is for. It has been replaced. This project is substantially complete. There's a few touch-up items, fencing and stuff like that have to go, but they're all in service and working, and came out to be a great project for the city. It's one of those things that looks like a concrete slab with some stuff sticking out of it. It's hard to see, but it's a big deal, and we're happy with the project, and recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Riley, we hadn't originally intended to replace the breakers and the starters, had we?
No,
And
we
I
had
guess
had
my-
a project
my intent-
5 years earlier, so our intent was to use those again, which we have on 2 and 3, but the ones on 1 got destroyed.
And I guess the intent of my question is, will part of this be reimbursable through FEMA?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, we are submitting all this to FEMA and insurance for reimbursement.
So part of it, 75% of it at least, should be reimbursable?
Yes, it should definitely be
Hopefully.
reimbursable, yeah.
Thank you. That was the intent of my question. Thank you very much. Any other questions from the committee? Do I have a motion?
Move the approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 10 passes. Item number 11, please.
Consider the reappointment of Councilor Marlon Coleman to the Airport Board to serve a full 2-year term beginning December 1, 2019 and ending November 30, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Stout.
Yes, Mr. Coleman has been serving on the airport board and was up for reappointment for this seat, and so it had to be obtained by a council member, and he was interested in continuing serving on that board, so would like to make the motion we reappoint him.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 11 passes. Item number 12, please.
Consider the appointment of Robert E. Allen Jr. to the Airport Board to fill the unexpired term of Dan Hall, beginning December 9, 2019, and ending December 31, 2022, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Hibbs.
Yes, I talked with Robert, and I was so excited because he called me and wanted to be on this board. You know, like, oh my God, we got somebody that really wants to be on a board. So he is our past Rotary Chair, very qualified, and I would highly recommend him for this board.
Second.
It is great when we got people that want to
I
serve.
know,
on boards.
I was so excited when he called.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 12 passes. Item number 13, please.
Discuss the 2020 meeting schedule for City Council, Public Works, and Finance Committee as per City Code 2-20 and Council Policy 1-2, and provide necessary direction to staff.
Mr. Miller, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Something we do every year, we have to set our meetings for the next calendar year. The city code establishes that it's second and fourth Mondays at 5:30, the Public Works and Finance Committee meet, and the first and third Mondays, the Public Works and Finance Committee meetings are first and third, and the council meetings are second and fourth Mondays at 5:30. And then if we have a holiday, we move those meetings to Tuesdays. So that's our default, but as the end of the year, we look to adopt this schedule for next year. There's been a proposal that on those weeks where a holiday falls on a Monday, that we just don't have a meeting that week. So basically, that what you have before you is a handout that's prepared by our city clerk, who has done all the hard work on this, but she's making me talk. The 4 Mondays that would eliminate a meeting for would be in January the 20th, February 17th, May 25th, and it looks like September 7th. And the We'll still meet 40 plus times next year if we follow this, or we can continue to do what we've doing. We wanted to lay out those proposals for you guys to talk about and discuss and adopt whatever you prefer for your meeting schedule.
I just didn't want to do anything that would put the city, in a stress. But I really love the solution of delaying that. And after we talked about it, it sounded like we can stack up meetings where it won't be any type of delay. I think it's a great solution.
Move for approval.
Second.
To be clear, the handout is what you're
Yes.
proposing? Okay.
So-
Go ahead.
Just to be clear, since these are established by city council policy and an ordinance, we will need to bring back for Monday night a corrected ordinance reflecting that change. So by approving this tonight, what you're doing is directing us to bring those documents forward for your ultimate review and approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I have a motion and a second by, was there a second? Or did I miss it?
Me.
Okay. There was a second by Councilor Hibbs. Any other comments by committee? Great solution. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Item number 13 passes as directing staff to come back. Item number 14, please.
Consider approval to receive donated funds from the estate of former city councilor Frank Borovitz in the amount of $4,165.92 to be deposited into the general fund or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker, but I don't believe it's going to be Mr. Tucker.
Mr. Chairman, I do have Matt Beasy who's going to speak on this topic. I will tell you that this was a mystery in the making, so I assume that Mr. Beasy will tell you the tale of how we got to bringing this $4,165.92 before you to deposit in the general fund. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Beasy.
Nice to have you, Matt. Back, Matt.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, it's not often we have somebody call up the city and go, hey, we have $4,000 we'd like to give you. When would you like it and how? And we go, huh? So we had to do some detective work, and in cooperation with the Treasurer's Office, Gene Kingston and her staff, the City Attorney's Office, particularly Leslie Arnold, our paralegal, as well as the Clerk's Office, we had to go back 21 years and try to recreate where this money may have found its way into the city's coffers. In 1998, it was the centennial of Muskogee. There was a committee established to celebrate that centennial. Frank Borovitz, former city council member, was the chairman of that committee. And at some point during that time, and we don't have exact records, we know they raised funds. An account was opened under the name of the committee, but in the personal tax or personal Social Security number of Mr. Borovitz. So technically and legally, it was his money, even though it was under the committee's subname. There was no formal council action taken to establish that committee, so it was independent of the city. So as we go through the process, it is not the city's money. We determined it was not the city's money, but in fact, Frank Borovitz's money. In consultation with his widow, Kay Borovitz, she had decided the intent was for it to serve the city's needs. With that being said, her as the executrix of the estate has gifted that money to the city in the amount of $4,165.92, and we present that to you for your acceptance, and we do recommend approval of the acceptance of those funds.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have these funds been earmarked for anything, or they're just going to general fund?
The general fund.
General fund. Any other questions from the committee? Have a motion is second. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
That concludes our agenda items, and I've not received any citizens to speak.
Mr. Johnson, I called Tammy today. Did you receive my call when I called? I told him to tell you that I called. I was going to speak tonight.
I'm sorry, I didn't receive that.
Can I suspend the rules and give me 3 minutes? Because I definitely called.
Mr. Tucker, is that
If that certainly is within the purview of the committee, someone will need to make a motion to suspend the rules, and of course, it'll be seconded, and then there'll have to be a vote, and it'll suspend the rules for this particular meeting.
I'll make a motion we suspend the rules. Give Ivory 3 minutes.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs?
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan?
Yes.
Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Van, you have 3 minutes.
Ivory Van, 4338 Columbus Street. Reason I was going to say something tonight, when I went to the National League of Cities, the new president, which is a city councilman in Los Angeles, he wanted to bring back to each city that we could do something about our homeless. And in Los Angeles, that's what he's going to do, and all the other cities also. So I think as a council up here, we need to get together, even if we have to in a council communication luncheon, is think of a way that we can get our homeless off the street. Because when people come and visit your city and walk out of City Hall and you go to the Civic Center, where mostly a lot of the homeless are, it's sad. We are human beings up here. They're human beings. They need a place when it's cold. One night when it was cold in Pam, we drove around where the homeless, we thought, where they hang out, and they wasn't there, and I was proud they wasn't there. But we need to come together as a council and a community and get these people some help. If they need mental help, we need to go try to get them some mental help. If they need a place to stay, like in Los Angeles, the counselor, he's proposing to do housing there to get the homeless off the street. And the homeless in Los Angeles is right downtown, right there by those beautiful hotels. All you do is see is down from those hotels is Tent City. So I would just ask the council and the citizens here in Muskogee to think about the homeless, because it's wintertime is coming and it's getting cold outside. And we as human beings and as Christians, we wouldn't want to be outside ourselves. So let's just, like I say, think of the people that's less fortunate than us, and let's lift them up. So that's what I wanted to say. Just let's lift them up, and I know each one of us up here are Christians, and that's me. That's my Christian duty, and that's everybody in this room's Christian duty, and that's Muskogee's Christian duty, is to lift people up, and don't let these people stay out in the cold and not have any food. Don't make Thanksgiving the only day that you give. You reach out to people that need. Reach out 360 days a year. So that's all I'm going to say. That's one thing that our president from the National League of Cities told us to do when we came back to our city. I was intending to mention that the other day. And also, we had a great speaker at the end of our conference, which is named Common. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. He's an actor. He's a rapper. But Common, he's on my video page, and I've videoed his whole speech. And he applauded the municipal government for what we do as municipal servants up here, trying to serve the people. I'll turn the floor back over to you. I'm sorry, I won't turn the floor back over to you, but that's the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for giving me time to say what I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. That will conclude our Public Works meeting.
Okay, and now we will call to order the special call meeting of December 2nd, 2019, and ask for the roll call, please.
Mayor Janie Boydston?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson?
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs?
Here.
Stephanie Morgan?
Here.
Marlon Coleman?
Here.
Ivory Van?
Here.
Derek Reed?
Here.
Alex Reynolds?
Here.
Jamie Stout?
Item 1.
Pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the employment, terms, evaluation, hiring, appointment, demotion, disciplining, resignation, or termination of City Manager Mike Miller, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Move for executive session.
Discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs? Stephanie Morgan?
Yes.
Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes, and the motion carries. Would you please excuse us while we go into executive session? And we are back. Roll call, please.
Mayor Janie Boydston?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson?
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs?
Here.
Stephanie Morgan?
Here.
Marlon Coleman?
Here.
Ivory Van?
Here.
Derek Reed?
Here.
Alex Reynolds?
Here.
Jamie Stout?
Here.
Mr. Tucker?
Thank you, Mayor. Pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 of the statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session to discuss the employment terms, evaluation, hiring, appointment, demotion, disciplining, resignation, or termination of City Manager Mike Miller. The City Council did convene an executive session. Mr. Miller did receive consideration and a brief evaluation. And I think based on the discussion within the council concerning the terms of his agreement, I believe an appropriate motion would be to approve an amendment to the employment contract with Mr. Miller, providing modified provisions based on the discussion in executive session, and authorize the city attorney to draft the same for the mayor's signature.
So move.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries, and that's the last of our business, so we are adjourned. Thank you.